we live? Anybody joining? All right, ladies and gentlemen, I believe we are live. TGN's first live stream. However, I'm having some. All right, well, I'm just gonna start talking. All right, welcome to TGN's first live stream. I'm going to be going through Streamy's sub. He's provided it to us on the chat, on the community page. If this is your first time watching, please like and subscribe. I believe that's what everybody's supposed to say. However, I don't see anybody in the chat yet, so I'm just going to start going through some assemblies that I enjoy talking. Yeah, it's all set up, and now I forget where I'm supposed to be. Component. Component there. Bit rate is low. All right, I'm hoping I see one concurrent viewer. I hope that's somebody that can ask questions, participate in the live chat because we don't have anything else going on. So I'm just gonna start talking with these components. I've seen a lot of people talking about components on in the Discord channel. It's a very frequent question I see sometimes, but I don't think anybody's ever sat down and explained how these work. I think it'll fill some time, so why not? So components are where to start. Two types of signals in barotrauma. There's power signals and data signals. Power signals used to happen at 5 hertz, and they've recently been updated to go at the same speed as the data channels, which is 760 hertz, I believe. So the power network is a list, essentially, of all the power producing and all the power consuming devices on your boat. It goes through this list as an hierarchy, like starts at the reactor and it goes through the top of the connections that were first made on this list and checks to make sure that they are not consuming too much power or producing too much power. And so it goes down this list. Now the list is not as hierarchical as it looks like in the game because the wiring is registered in a file. If you've ever been through the game files, it's an XML and it's specific to your sub. And as you create items and assemblies on your sub, this XML file is appended and modified, but it is always, whenever you add a new item, it adds it to the list. If you were to delete an item and put it back, it would be deleted from its spot in the ladder. Everything moves up one, then it would be added again at the bottom. So the signals are not. The signals are all updated essentially at the same time, but they are calculated sequentially. All right, I see 2 viewers. If somebody wants to say something in the live chat to confirm that you can actually hear what I'm saying, it would be appreciated. anyways, so data signals are ways of monitoring and manipulating signals coming from the devices that generate or are driven by signals on your sub. I know it sounds um, obvious when you say that, but really you have to understand that it's a video game. And being a video game, it's driven by code. And you don't have to understand the code to understand the implications of that. If you understand how the sub is designed in terms of code, you can use this to understand how the things work. So let's see. You know what? I was gonna save this for the engineering class guide video, but I don't think it would hurt anybody to go through the some of the XML stuff. Hang on, I gotta. Oh man, always having technical difficulties. Me. Um, no, I don't care about that. Okay. Hey, now loud and clear. Awesome. Thank you, the man. All right, this file was not created. Oh my goodness! If you can hear my laptop in the background, I have a 5 or 6 year old Asus ROG laptop, and it's just a struggling because the fans aren't doing super great. Now let's see. We file open folder, and we'll just go with the barotrauma. So if you can figure out how to navigate through these items and look for the things you want to find, you will find an immense amount of information in the game files. For example, if you go to any device, let's say a junction boxes are pretty important. I hear. I don't know. I something tells me they're important. If you go to this thing's properties in the game editor, and you go down here, this is all the editable properties, but that's not all the properties. That's what's another thing is that this is a lot, but this isn't everything. And if you go down here, you'll find repairable. Now, the repairable thing determines not just how the device is repaired, but how it deteriorates at the same time. So here we have screwdriver that classifies this as an electrical item if you were to fix this. Or sorry, no. You can define the skill required and the tool required separately, but it is the tool that triggers the skill check. Anyways, deterioration speed, but more importantly, these two, the fixed duration high skill and the fixed duration low skill. Every item has, or sorry, every interactable item has a minimum skill requirement that defines how your how efficient your interaction is. So if you're trying to repair this junction box, if you have minimum skill, if you're lower than the minimum skill requirement or equal to it, I suppose, it will take you 25 seconds to repair this junction box from 0% to 100%. If you have 100 skill, in this case electrical, if you have 100 skill points, it will only take you 5 seconds. But the thing here is that, like, so it does scale linearly between the minimum skill requirement and the 100, which is the maximum. But you don't know that starting point. At what level do you have to be in order for your repair time to start scaling? So, if you go back to the code here, and we go to, I'll back it up so we can see where we go all the way. You go barotrauma. This is in your game files. If you don't know how to find this, you go open up your Steam library. And in your Steam library, you'll find on the left side menu, there's your list of games, obviously, and you click on barotrauma. And there'll be a gear on the right side. And that gear, if you right click it, there's an option that pops out called Manage. And if you go into that submenu, you'll find something that says Local Game File. And that'll take you to the folder that has specifically this folder here. This one says Barotrauma. I'll find it here. If you're on Windows, as much as I don't love to be, I wish I could do everything in Linux, but that's not the case, especially with Steam. Actually, Barotrauma does run on Linux. Fun fact. So yeah, if your Windows, it's in 86. It's Steam, Steam Apps, Common, Barotrauma, and then this is your all of your game files in here. Hang on, how many viewers do we have? Just out of curiosity. 4. Holy cow! We're almost halfway to double digits, boys and ladies and gentlemen. I said boys, but that's sexist. Okay, so anyways, if you go to the folder content and down to items, and in the subfolder called electricity, you will find something called power items. And it just so happens that the first item on this list is the junction box. And this tells the game where to find the sprites, so the visual elements that are associated with the game. Because again, the game is just managing a list of items and players and recording their position and their inventory and their status and so on and so forth. But this is where it finds the images to associate with it. If you want to change what your junction box looks like without having to redefine the code, you can edit this file directly if you want. I don't recommend it, but if you want, you can. But if you go down here, you will find around line 46 is the repairable category. So this tag says, you'll notice here deterioration speed. If we go back to the game, we see the deterioration speeds over here. Let's see. Yeah, so 0.1. And what are your thoughts on the new update with the sub changes? I have to be honest, I haven't been playing very much lately. Um, which update are you talking about specifically? Because there's all sorts of little tiny ones. Are you talking about the big one with the expanded communities and the changes to the mod manager? The mod manager changes are interesting to me. A lot less transparent than the original system, but I can see the logic in their design. Plus, the way that they have it, it makes it easier to publish, which is the whole point, right? They want to see people publishing new stuff, but at the same time, you got to be careful of the less items and transferred items and newly purchased subs. Um, Items can break the game if they're not careful. It's Remember, their job is to balance this whole thing. They don't want to make it too easy. They don't want to make it too hard, but they want to make it approachable. Um, and if the game is driven by inventory, then that's a lot harder to manage than if they were to just drive the characters and the structures around the ship. Naturally, there's mods to adjust. Like, I'm pretty sure there's mods where you can revert back to other things. But for example, I run a mod when I'm designing subs that allows me to put 10 connections in a per slot in the junction box. And like the implications of that are huge because if you have more connections out of the junction boxes, you don't need as many junction boxes, and it alleviates some of the repair stress on your engineer. But at the same time, if one of those junction boxes goes down, that's 10 devices, or sorry, 9 devices because it's technically supplied. And if it's daisy chained, you only get 8 because there's going to be one downstream. But if you have 8 items attached to this junction box instead of just 3, you're in deep doo doo if it fails. So, like, the implications, the kind of balancing is difficult. So, thank you very much for that question. I can't really speak to the new changes because I haven't played very much lately. My kids have been sick. I've been sick if you can't hear it in my voice, but you've never heard me before, so it's hard to say. You're hard for you to judge how sick I am, I suppose. Um, are we? Is Streamy in the chat? Streamy was the first one to provide us with a sub file to look at, and I'm just kind of killing time until he shows up because I don't think doesn't make sense to review somebody's sub without them right there because you don't know what they're thinking. They can answer questions, and everybody's allowed to. I don't know. I don't believe in silly questions. I just believe that there's pompous people who believe that the questions are below them to answer. Oh, please. It's nothing. It's funny how the kids are so resilient. We were always so worried with the kids getting sick, but with COVID, oh, Streamy, there he is, awesome. All right, I just want to finish what I'm saying about this junction box and minimum skill requirement. We'll get a look at your Seawolf, the Seawolf. Um, so junction boxes, right? These guys are. If you want to play more as the engineer, this is something you'll become intimately familiar with, and it's important to understand what influences how long it takes for you to repair these things. So number one, when you're getting when you're repairing a junction box or anything electrical, you get 5 points, 5 skill value points per repair divided by your current electrical skill level. So if you have level 5 and you repair a whole junction box, congratulations, you didn't get shocked to death. But if you have level 5 and you repair one from, doesn't matter from where, as long as you've repaired to 100%, then you get one whole skill value point for that, right? And so it kind of it's literally diminishing returns as you taper off towards 100. There's talents that are better suited for getting skill points, but at the beginning of the game, junction boxes are an easy way to level up your electrical skill, provided you catch them early. If you look here, it says minimum the repair threshold. You can't repair anything that's below or that's above 80%, right? So if you repair something to like 90% and you interrupt the repair, guess what? You can't get back into repairing that thing until it drops down below 80% again. But at the same time, you want to catch that at 80% because it doesn't matter where you start when you're doing the repair. If you finish at 100%, you get skill points for it. Um, so that's where they come from. But where they go is that like you have this fixed duration low skill, and as long as you're below the minimum skill requirement, this will remain 25 seconds. Once you hit that minimum skill requirement and you start getting above that, it scales linearly from that value to 100 down to the fixed duration high skill. When you're at level 100, it takes you 5 seconds to repair this thing from 0 to 100%. So what is that minimum skill requirement? If we go back to the code here and we look at the content items electricity and then power items.xml, and you go down to line 46, I'm speaking quickly because I've already said most of this stuff. You'll see that the properties of this repairable header are pretty long. They keep going fixed duration high skill, fixed duration low skill, but it's not on this list. Right? You may recall if you were here from the start, I said something about skill requirements, right? Here we go. Line wait, that's not I'm way down. Hang on. There we go. This is 31, where's 46? Required fill. There we go. Required skill electrical 55. So this means that your repair time on this junction box doesn't start scaling until you hit level 55. The other thing that the skill value influences is your failure rate. So the degree of success, what it's called, if you look in the GitHub, the degree of success of whether you pass or fail on the skill check when you go to repair the item, it's triggered by the tool. If you go into the GitHub and you try to figure out where it comes from, it's associated with the repair tool as the code for the skill check. But basically, you take 100% minus your skill. I think it's a minus. Anyways, basically, you take the difference between your skill and the required skill of the item, and then subtract that from 100%, and that's your chance of succeeding. So technically, there's really never a zero chance of failing a skill check. You could have perfectly exactly the same or even higher, and it'll never get to 100%, but it'll be pretty damn close. So I see we have 10 people. I thought we had 17 at one point in time, but I'm not. I don't know who's counting. I'm trying not to be nervous about this whole thing. It's my first live stream. Not the gaming nerd's first live stream. I have live streamed before about 3D printing, but that's a different channel. All right, streaming. Let's take a look at your Seawolf. Now, I have not looked at this sub. I took a quick glance at it to make sure that it loaded properly. I didn't really look at anything in too much detail. But Streamy, if I say something wrong or if there's something you've noticed that's not loading because I have I'm missing a mod or something, then please just say something in the chat, and I'll see if I can download the mod and then figure out what we're doing. Holy, this is redundancy at its finest, ladies and gentlemen. Look at this. Oh my goodness, he's got labels on the cabinets. He's got his decks labeled by, well, he's got A and oh, there's C. Where's B? There's got to be a B around here somewhere. Anyways, doesn't matter. It's vanilla, so it should be fine. Well designed, my friend. That is the way to do it. I love mods. I have a couple of ships that I've designed. I can't help it. I love the EK mods. They add so much variety to the game. Oh, what is this? We have a shuttle that we're missing. Ooh, now we're talking. That's clever the way you've got it tucked right into the frame of the ship. I like that. This is very well non sci-fi. It looks like this could be something floating around the Atlantic, minus the whole railgun. You know that. I swear a couple times, guys, here and there. I'm gonna try to avoid it, but all right. So how many? Let's evaluate this thing. Hang on. I have I'm working on all the class guides like engineer, mechanic, captain, weapons, medic. Don't think I'll be doing it. I have not made the shuttle in the hangar. Eh, dude, you're well on the way with this. I can see you've been frustrated with storage. You can tell a lot by the way somebody's thinking about the game, by how they design their subs. I mean, like, look at this. Crate storage for days, man. This guy's not starving. Once he gets this filled up, it's gonna be a force to reckon with, right? Yeah. I hope you're referring to the storage thing. You have to understand this is how they balance the game. They can put the most OP bullets, like those depleted fuel bullets. They can load them up in this game, but if you can't have too many on the sub, you don't have to worry about it unbalancing the game. But look at this. How many people are you planning on running this sub? I'm gonna guess like this is at least a 10-person sub. Otherwise, there's gonna be echoes in these hallways when you're running around. Pump. Hang on. Yeah, it's a lot of space. About seven. Wow. Hang on. So, pardon me, guys. Sorry about that. Okay. So, do you guys want me to dig out? I have a little Google Slides presentation on how to objectively evaluate a sub. I try to come up with metrics that are like completely not emotional. Interesting. You have redundancy abound throughout the ship, but you only have one engine. Curious. Is it a dryer? Is it vanilla? I've never seen that before. That's epic. I was doing the laundry. Get to the back of the sub and wash my shit. Okay, what do we got? We got ballast. Is it a bed and a ballast tank? It's dark, bro. Oh, it's not a ballast tank, anyways. He was using it as a bilge pump. That's serious business. Okay, the U-404 sub not found. Okay, let's see what we're all here to see, ladies and gentlemen. We're gonna turn off all this stuff and look at just your wires. Wow, that is remarkably organized. Very well done. So I'm gonna show you guys something that will blow your minds, I suspect. We're gonna leave the items on. If you've never seen this before, you're gonna wonder why you've never tried this shortcut. Shift right click brings up a menu that not many people know about. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna change my background color to make this easier to look at the wires. So Shift tab drives me nuts in this game. Okay, so now we have very stark contrast for the wire. Let's see what your junction boxes look like here. Okay. Junction power generator relay tech. Okay. Not gonna lie, wiring took about a month. I believe it. Oh, your regex. Ooh, there we go. Who's playing with regex? What's your thing here? 1 to 90%. Okay, you might want to change that now. This is not criticizing by any stretch. One of the latest updates, if you look at the change log, whenever your um, supercapacitors or batteries are set, not necessarily charging, but are set to 70% or higher of their charge rate, they start taking damage. Right? And that's a major pain in the ass. If like so basically what I'm working on and pretty much completed is a regex or a greater than component system that it defaults to 70% or 69.9% or whatever you want to set it to. But it has an interrupt where you can override that to 100% with a button on the helm, right? So the captain makes the decision that, okay, we need to sacrifice the longevity of our supercapacitors for charge rate right now because there's an endworm outside and it needs to die. Powering your oxygen, your dive lockers is a very good idea. Not everybody knows about that one. These things have a power slot, and if you put a power connection to them, they will refill the oxygen tanks that are loaded into them for storage. It comes at half the rate of an oxygen. So this thing has 5 slots. It can do 2% every second, I think, possibly 1% per second. But then these things are half that. But still, the ability to shove a dive suit into a locker with a half-filled oxygen tank and not worry about having to go find one, put it back, and because let's be honest, these things are usually empty down here. If anybody plays like me and just leaves them kind of scattered around for your, I'm usually a stay-at-home engineer. I don't like going on away missions because I don't know, scared. Fractal Guardians scare me. These are robots that are immune to EMP. What the hell? Uh, okay, so what do we got? We got pump up here, pump up here. Again, if you look at the vanilla subs, you'll notice that there's not pumps in every room. They use ducts. Like, do you have any ducts in here? I don't think you do have any ducts. Not ducts in quack quack. Ducts is in wall duct. Walls and structures. Lighting. What's your lighting like? Ooh. Are you using only lamps to do your lighting? Because they've recently changed the way lights are handled and they put a restriction. Ducts are next to hatches. Oh. See, the ducts are supposed to be part of the cabinet of the compartments to help them drain down to the larger bilge pumps. But I find it interesting. You have so much redundancy, but you don't have ducts. Mind you, only with the one engine. But I'm not judging, dude. Please, this is awesome. I like this sub. You should see some of the crap that I make. Um, I've got one. I call it the fugu, the blowfish. It has far more guns than is necessary, and it has 2 reactors. One that powers steering, navigation, life support, ballast, like everything else, fabricators, and one that powers the guns. But you can only have one running at a time. And the guns fold away and they're covered up and you can't use them. So you have to choose between being able to shoot things and being able to breathe. I don't know. I like shtick like that. I like having all sorts of interesting dilemmas on my subs. Okay, the alarms. What are the alarms connected to? Hang on here. Wi-Fi channel 70. Okay. Where'd my shift break go? Hang on. Select matching items. Okay. Wi-Fi's down here, and I'm doubting it's gonna be docking. Create item assembly. Select matching items. Okay. Copy, and then we're gonna paste them down here. Okay. Where's the one that's 70? Hang on here. Alarms are at the top of the sub. The sources, you mean, at the top of the sub? I'm trying to figure out which one's channel 70. I'm gonna guess it's something reactor related. Or possibly flood related. Let's see, what's this one? Signal check. Channel 0, okay. Um, yeah, there's no easy way for me to find this thing. So I'm gonna wait for him to tell me in this chat. So fabricator. Sorry, deconstructor, fabricator. Holy hell in the junction box. Can you imagine walking into this room and everything's on fire? It'd just be like, ugh. Oh, guitars. The respite, what's it called? Melodic respite or the arrows. Interesting. Tisk tisk. Your arrows for the hard points just float in the air. I'm just kidding, man. I'm not judging. This is awesome. I really like this sub. This is a nice sub. Oh, look at this. Oh, guys, don't get over the gun controls. Okay, hang on. Over the gun controls. Oh, I know that's what these are for. I'm 100% certain I know what these arrows are for. But without a periscope here, this label is just kind of floating in the air, right? Whereas you could put it up here and it would do something similar. But again, this is picking at the tiniest of nits. This is a very well designed sub. Oh, lockers. Okay. Oh no, weapons. Ah, those make it look like that thing can't open. Now your cabinet's linked to anything? Oh wait, no. Where's your fabricator? You don't have any links to your storage, especially the ones down here. So fun fact: if you connect your deconstructors and your fabricators to your storage with links, then the items that you deconstruct will automatically be swapped over to the storage, and then when you're searching in the fabricator recipe list, it will populate those recipes straight out of the storage. So some people call this cheating. I call it clever design. Um, but fun fact and word of warning, you cannot link. You can technically link more than one storage cabinet to these devices, but it really screws with the interface, and I believe it might make it broken. Uh, Either way, fun little things that not everybody knows about. So, oh, by the way, Streamy is in Central European time, which certainly narrows down the list of countries he could possibly be in to something like 30. I'm in Eastern Canada. I'm on what we call Atlantic time. So I'm GMT -4, and I think he's GMT +1. So it is mid afternoon there, probably, something like that. What do these buttons do? Up, down. Don't DDoS me. How the hell would I DDoS you? Sorry, I'm gonna be honest, guys. I'm 38. I'm starting to feel my age. Like I get so stuck on technology that my kids just can't. Like they no trouble with whatsoever, and it makes me feel like my father did probably. Oh, is this a mud raptor head on the wall? Oh, that's epic. Endworm tank. This is pretty cool, buddy. I like this tank. All right. Now, did you have any particular questions about this sub as to what you wanted done? Oh, that's your docking hatch. Is this a docking rail? Yeah, that's a docking rail. No, it's a docking hatch. So how the heck are you supposed to get in and out of this thing? All right, Streamy. I don't know what kind of delay we're getting. Uh-oh. We got a 0 bit rate. Okay, I think we're back. Go into test mode and start pressing buttons. Okay. Challenge accepted. What is going on here? There we go. Okay. Test mode it is. Uh-oh. Am I having latency issue, guys? Not running anything particularly. Okay. Switch to the engineer here. We don't have any fuel in here. That's kind of mean. Raise my mic up a little bit. Hang on. You know what? I'm going to return to the editor. Just so I can start pushing buttons without panicking about everybody suffocating. Ooh. Here. I'll show you guys a real quick. No offense, buddy. I'm adding this circuit so that I don't have to worry about the reactor while I'm exploring your sub. Set this. Out. If the temperature out is greater than 4009, and we want this. Oh, did it again. Yeah. No. Yes. Okay. And then this one. Power value. Just by this stuff. Great. Load. Two. Nine. Where's it? Load. It'll also be 0 and 100. You guys still getting audio from me? Can somebody say something in the chat? Because it's telling me my current stream's audio bitrate is 0. If you're hearing me, please say something in the chat. Alright. So, if temperature is greater than 4,909. Oh, here. Nice, okay. Output is 0 if temperature is too high. Output is 100 if temperature is not high enough. This one, load is output is 0 if it fission rate is 0 if too high, 100. All right, let's throw some fuel into this thing and we can get started. Oh. Why is that not on? There we go. Ta-da. Why are lights still? Interesting. I wonder what's going on with your system's oscillation. Damped. Second order damped with dead time. No. Second order. What was it? That was like, oh, hang on. What? All right. You have a load controller. I saw that. Oh, a load control. Wait, that's pretty cool. Hang on. Where's that now? You're saying you got stacking issues down here with these 100%. I can see what you're doing with these 100%. It's nice. Uh, Now that displays are a craftable item, I can see how that would be handy. We got give these pre-stock. No, okay. Hang on. I got an idea. Easy way to smoke test your electrical system. We'll, see this. I do this sometimes when I really want to put myself to the test. So we're going to say switch. So over here. Here. Are you using channel 999? Is that something I can use freely? It only says load control in the set. Well, it means nobody can mess with it. That's a bonus. You get that going for you, which is nice. All right. More. Are these just vision periscopes? Not using that channel. Good. Okay. Are these cameras, these periscopes only over here only for vision, or are you actually? Yeah, this is probably steering cameras. It does have lights on. More big. I like the visibility of the coverage, but that's an easy way to balance yourself. Is turn down the number, steer your viewpoints. Only the one light, huh? I do like to live dangerously. Right. Periscopes and finder for the drone. Speaking my language. I like it. Where? Okay, you know what? I'm doing this wrong. Uh, Turn off these wires. I don't want to delete something. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna turn on everything at the same time and wait for some see what craps out first. So this isn't supposed to be a pretty process, but it's tell us what your major drains are. I see. Yeah, this 360-degree coverage with the guns. It's a great idea in practice, but in terms of gameplay, it kind of breaks the balance. You'll notice that all the vanilla subs have a bit of a blind spot. Oh, there's another one over here. Hang on. What do we got? We got 18 people. That's like 1% of my viewers. By the way, if you're watching and you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe. It justifies the time I spend on it to my girlfriend. Um, if you guys are wondering how I'm dragging wires out, I don't know if this is a well-known fact or not. The number keys are associated with wire colors. So I'm just pressing the 3 whenever I'm trying to get this blue wire, which is what I use most. Have you done this kind of a test before? Have you any predictions as to what's going to happen? I have no clue what will happen. Good. I like a little mystery in my life. Notice I'm also turning on the lights. Lights are a lot of power consumers on sub processor. Which is why, I was going to show you my little trick here on how to cut back on your lighting, the number of shadow casting lights. So if you turn on hulls and click on the hull in edit mode, not wiring, you'll see ambient light up here. So you can say, like, if you're doing, I like to turn my ballast tanks red, and that's not. Right, and so this lights up the compartment without requiring an actual. All right, I think we're just about ready. Oh, I think I forgot to switch to the thing. Oh, I did, didn't I? This should be interesting. All right. First of all, you go over here and turn this on. Turn this on. Okay. So now we don't have to worry about crashing. And we're running at about what is it, 225. Hey, my cat wants to say hello. You're live, buddy. So I have to give him a little attention. Cats. God put cats on this earth to teach men how to deal with women. Somebody told me once. I think remarkably true, even though I'm not really a God believing person. Unsubscribe if you want, but I'm more of a nihilist. The universe only gives us one chance, and do with it what we can. Optimistic nihilism on Kurtzagok YouTube channel. Shout out to those guys because they're awesome. All right, Steamy, Streamy. Let's see. You ready for this? I think this is gonna be exciting. Ready? Hang on. We're gonna go free cam here. so you can see what's going on. Oh, hang on. Free cam. So that's just going like you like back. How's your reactor fan doing? Oh, nice and steady. 30, 30. Oh wait, look, see, this is what I was talking about. Look at your supercapacitors. Look at that. They're gradually getting. I gotta turn on my. Oh, I don't. Yeah, they're sinking. What he was thinking about. Boy, you got ammunition for days in these things, buddy. Let me guess, you got multiple loaders attached to each coil gun, don't you? Oh, okay. Hang on. Let's go see what happened. Is our super capacitor? Oh no! What have I done? Madness. Oops. No one loaded per gun. Okay, maintaining a little bit of balance in this thing. Wow, structure. Okay. Okay, you know what? Before I go back in and start doing that, I'm gonna pull up that little hang on here. I've got to my OBS stream. Want to get over to here. I'm gonna open up a little slideshow on how I evaluate subs. Slides. Don't look at my sneaky stuff here. Okay, sub design, reaction control, capture. There's be MATLAB. Anybody familiar with MATLAB? Um, sorry guys, give me 1 second here. Submarine editor, sneak here. Sorry guys. Winter halter. It's gotta be around here somewhere. Hey, stop it. Sorry guys, give me 1 sec. Here we go. Okay. Okay. Is you guys still with me? I didn't lose you. So my goal was to create some sort of metric that could be used to evaluate the different subs. Still a work in progress, but I don't know. I think it's cool. So let's talk about agility first. So there is a way of calculating your sub's top speed. It's long and arduous and involves going through the code. I'm not really interested. Acceleration and braking is again relative to the size of your sub to the force that can be generated by your engine. Ballast turnover rate we can look at. Hang on. Ballast turnover and your aspect ratio. Gonna be pretty high. I can tell you that by max horizontal speed 23 kilometers an hour, max descent speed, and up. Ooh, okay, your balance. Ooh, your ballast balance is a little off. That's fine. Good. No, that's good. Testing means you've been doing testing. All right, so you got four turret hard points. No, you got six, don't you? I don't remember what I see. The railgun on top, which is an interesting choice. We'll see how it plays out from top. Weapons pairs, turret agility. Did you mess with the turret agility settings, or did you just leave those vanilla? Okay, while we're waiting for that, okay. Armament, railguns, coil guns, depth charge tubes. Okay, turrets are for vanilla, I'm pretty sure. Okay. Turrets are an easy way to make a game easier or harder to work with because their agility scales again with a minimum skill requirement, but not always fun. Ah, yes. Okay. Average hardpoint separation. That's an interesting. I think you're gonna have a nice even distribution between them. Means you've got even coverage for your security officer to worry about. Whereas if you have um, yeah, we'll work on that for a sec later on if you're interested. Um, yeah, turret damping score, turret agility, defense. Does this make any sense, guys? So bilge pumps and ballast bias. Um, total coil power. And what I do here, I really packed apart. There's a whole bunch of slides. I'm big on defense coils, like not as many turrets, but extra coils because they allow you to passively protect a whole area where the turret needs to be moved. Pardon me for yawning. Hang on. Cat door. I didn't see any discharge coils. I'm looking too hard. What else we got? Bilge ratio. So the bilge ratio is the total non-volume, total non-ballast volume of your sub. We'll look at the bilge ratio, right? Because if you don't have the means of getting water out of your sub when you need to, you can have the most heavily doodly uh, armed sub in the world. If it takes a friggin' spinaling shot in the wrong spot, and you just hemorrhage water without being able to get it out, then you're kind of dead. Those guns are pointless. Uh, so yeah, this is another one compartment size big because every time a compartment starts filling up, if it's too big, the ballast tanks can't compensate for it. Oh, we'll do utility metrics in a sec here. Oh, we got 22 viewers now. Holy, look at me go. Total storage. I think where that one's gonna be off the charts. You're gonna get a nice little um, perk on your radar map on that one. This one is fire recovery essentially. If you have the worst case scenario on any submarine is not a water fire because it sucks all the oxygen out of the sub, and that's for real life too. Power factor divided by engine power consumption. Ooh, junction box travel distance. Although that was pretty. You have all your junction boxes in one place. Unrealistic but handy, utilitarian for sure. Uh, Deterioration. Hallway complexity. Yeah, we can look at that one. Yes, I spend my days making Google slideshows about how to evaluate a sub objectively. Um, I'm a nerd. That's the point. I embrace my inner nerd. We have fun times. Okay, where do you want to start, guys? All junction boxes are in one place. Awesome. So let me ask you a question. You put all your junction boxes and all your super capacitors same place. What happens if there's a hull fracture right here? An SOL. So what I would do, probably swap these compartments here. I would put the junction boxes more inside, and it's still vulnerable to a spindling hit this far back, but not the end of the world if it gets hit. Same with this one. I'd swap the reactor because you're much more likely to suffer bad times if your reactor takes a hit from this point. Because if it's on the outside, the only defense is this wall, right? Again, not nitpicking. This is a well-designed sub. You got storage for days. Something just like a Barotrauma hoarder. But it's not. The guns aren't like the gun coverage is a little. It's uniform, but it's not what I call overpowered. They're all coil gun, coil gun, coil gun. They're all coil guns. Is there any particular reason for that? A railgun. Uh, Took some hallway complexity. Doorways. Doors count as items still. I thought they were gonna fix that. Okay. This part of this deck is clear across. All right. This is a open. It's a very open design. There's not a single defense coil outside, which I find curious. Your aspect ratio is obviously extremely high. This aspect ratio is the largest dimension divided by the smallest dimension. So in this case, it's length divided by height. I don't have to look at it to know that that's. I don't have to calculate it to know that that's at least 5 to 1. Probably yeah, close to that. I'd say. You know what? Screw it. For nerds. Go over here. I don't know how close I am. So Alt mouse key in the Barotrauma editor turns it into a measuring tape. So 6.8. Then you want to go from the tallest point, which is going to be actually no, the guns can phase through stuff. You want to go through here. This one down to here. 4 to 1. Yeah, 60 divided 50. It's a little over 4 to 1. Yeah. All right. So look at the ballast turnover rate. Okay, hang on. Where are your ballast? Ballast. Is your ballast tank here? Or is it just this one? Oh my goodness, you've got storage in your ballast tanks. Clearly don't live in a. Where do you live, buddy? I'm curious. I'm gonna literally hold my breath until he says something on this one. Selected hull volume. It can be all your ballast. Is that all your ballast? Neutral ballast is 0.22. Am I right on that? Because that's a big deal. Okay. Selected hull volume is 14653 4. Units. That's I think it's 1,465. So All right, so this thing's pump capacity is 600, yeah, which is your standard value for pump. So I believe it's divided by 100, not a thousand. Is the other one? They're all probably 600. All right, so we've got 1800. If we've got 3 ballast subs, you have these labeled as ballast. You do, awesome. Um, if you got 1800, 14,650. I'm getting that number, by the way, from up here. If you guys didn't know that, here, 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 you'll notice it says selected hull volume 1465344. Right? I did not know there was a neutral. You know what, buddy? I don't. I've spent thousands of hours in this game, and I've like, and I'm not even word of a lie. I think something stupid. Do you guys want me to look up how many hours I've spent in this thing? Um, yeah. So that goes into your steering. I don't know if you didn't know that or not. Which your navigation terminal steering. That's sonar. Where's steering? Steering. Neutral ballast level. That's where you put that. Shove that right in there, and your steering will compensate for it. But what that means, if your neutral hull balance is 0.22, that's 4 to 1, roughly. That means you can go up. No, neutral ballast volume is 0.22, which means at 20% it's neutral. So at 100% it's 4 times more full than it is at neutral, which means that you can. I know you said that you can dive 19. No, up what? Up descent, max descent, max descent speed, max up 19. Anyways, it's not gonna be your speed limit that's the problem. It's gonna be your acceleration. So I'm guessing you can dive a hell of a lot faster in this thing than you can climb. That's gonna be problematic when you get to abyss level, where you're struggling. There's hydrothermal currents. Um, Anyways, what's the wheelchair for? The poor guy breaks his legs. They wheel him down to the ballast tank and just let nature take its course. Cold, buddy. That's cold. I love these things. These are awesome. You put a lot of work into the sub. I can tell. It's well designed, well thought out. It's a little bit OP in my opinion. The storage breaks it entirely. Like, and no place for the weak. Sleep well, comrade. Um, so my only complaints, and I like this sub. I can tell that you've been struggling with storage, and you probably get frustrated with people occupying time on the fabricators by the looks of it. I mean, this tells me this having two of each, and even these guys over here. This tells me that you've been standing in line waiting for a fabricator slot when you play the game, and you find that a limitation. Um, Max reactor output of 10,000. Yeah, that's why it didn't really shrink when I started turning everything on. That's a big deal. Um, yeah, is that vanilla? That's awesome. If that's vanilla, I didn't know that was in game. Like I said, you learn something every day. Where is our force? Max force 750. 750 to 4,000. Wow, did you? That's not vanilla, I don't think. By the way, the button over the balance tank is empties it due to flora. That's a good idea. I've been working on flora detection for some time now, and it's tricky. Um, it doesn't show up. Not everybody knows that the motion detectors on your sub um, can selectively choose between monsters and topography and humans. And so I tried to just put a motion detector on the in the ballast tank that's triggered by monsters. The ballast floor should set it off. But in a remarkably realistic response, Barotrauma made it so that either the ballast flora just grows too slowly for the motion sensor to pick up anything, or it's just not a monster at all. Which technically, I guess, is flora. All right, let's contribute something to the sub. Okay, I'm gonna open my components demo here because I'm gonna come back to this. Did you guys want me to go through some of these components here to talk about them later, or because I can spend some time explaining what all these do, if that's an interesting thing to anybody. But you guys chew on that. I'm gonna pull up my demo here. Okay. I can't find my demo. What's this? If you want to ramble electronics, go ahead. Let me give me a sec here. I might put these over here. Here we go. Okay. So all of these assemblies can be constructed in a game without needing mods or anything special. You can plug these wires in anywhere you want. So I'm gonna move the door aside here. Copy the connect. So these doors have the motion sensing, unless there's water on either side of the door, in which case you have to open it manually. And I'm also big on spacing of hatches is important because they you fall and the door and the hatch is open, fall too far and hurt yourself. All right, let's get back to that. The best suggestion, like not the most important modification. Reactor controller is the most important modification to any sub. It just makes life so much easier. We'll build one of those. How about we build one of those right now? I'll put in a reactor controller and we'll set up some motion activated doors, or at least one, so that you can look at the wiring and give it back. Yeah. Do you have any? You be upset if I disconnect this controller here? I hope. So what are we doing here? Load value out, memory component out. What was the memory connected to? So if the load value is divided by that, memory times 100. So your reactor response was scaling with the load. Okay, I see that logic. And fission, you just let fission rate go to the native auto controller. I'm guessing by the sounds of it. Let's save this. You got the load protector thing exactly right. Is that what that was? I'm gonna move this. Hang on, we're gonna group this. I'll put your reactor controller in here. So we need greater. Okay. And 1, 2, 3 delays. Not component. I'm guessing if you weren't using 999, okay. So let's wire some crap. Oh, I need button. So put a button here. Put a button here. Boom. Down here with the floor so you don't accidentally push them with your hand. All right. Somebody, if you can see what I'm doing, speak up because I know I'm not explaining myself very clearly. All right. And this is your reactor power down. This is manual override. No, this is gonna be this is gonna be your manual override. So just because you put so much effort and time into the wiring, I'm gonna try to make it look kind of nice and pretty, just like yours. So up here. Oh, nope. Here. There. Two. So what I'm just doing, if you guys have never seen the 3-component reactor controller, I'm just setting it up. So there's two types of controllers. Well, there's many different types of controllers out there, but two popular ones are the PID, which I've already done a video on, and completely made obsolete by the other one, which is called a bang bang controller, which is basically if it's on, bang. Or sorry, if it meets a certain condition, bang, it's on 100%. If it doesn't meet that condition, bang, it's off 0%. There's no if, and, buts, or in between. All right. So these go into here. This is gonna go like vision rate to green. I like my here, turbine output. Sorry guys, I know I'm not saying much. Let me know when you guys figure out what's going on. This Oh, yeah, I still got. Sounds like you guys can hear me. Hang on. All right, sorry guys. Okay, so here's what's going on. I'm using buttons instead of switches because you can't have conflicting button. There's some switch signals. Screwing with your works here. Toggle state. So what do we have? So we have the state out from this relay goes down here into the not component number one, and from the not component it goes into the set state of this relay. So if the not component inverts the signal, then whenever we can, this little circuit has arranged this so that whenever this relay is on, this one is guaranteed to be off, and whenever this one's off, this one's guaranteed to be on. But you'll notice that I also took a second branch of the same state out signal, and I fed it into this relay. And from this relay, it goes into both signal 1, signal 2 of this relay, which also goes to the fission rate and turbine output. So basically now, what we've got is that when this relay is on, the signals from this greater component and this greater component go to the fission rate and turbine output controls, respectively. And then when this relay is off, this relay is sending to the same channels the off signal from the first relay. Right, so that's a 0. What this does is that when you toggle this relay on, this 3-component autocontroller is running the reactor. When you turn this relay off, the off signal is running the reactor, and it powers down the reactor without needing to shut it down. This is important because if you hit the shutdown button or if you send a shutdown signal to the reactor, you have to show up and manually turn it on, like to recover from that situation. With this circuit, you can this is what I'm looking for. With this circuit, you can turn it off and on, and because this is a toggle thing, we can also say, let's add another little thing. We're going to put another relay down here. I didn't even get your catch. I get to catch your live stream. Awesome content. Thank you. Thank you. I really appreciate that. If you guys' feedback means everything. I cry myself to sleep when I get bad comments on YouTube. So what we're gonna do here, this is gonna come from the dock. So when the dock is docked, we're gonna be getting power. We don't need to turn on. We don't need the reactor running. So we can. The dock is gonna be sending a 1 though, and we need to send a 0. And so that's gonna go into. And put this one into the set state port. Now, say this in here. Maybe not. See what happens if we leave that off. Okay, so we hook this up to the docking port. What's gonna happen is when we're docked, we're gonna have a 1 signal coming in through this Wi-Fi. The 1 signal goes into the NOT, turns into a 0, and then yes. Okay, so we want this signal out here to also control that state. So what that's gonna do is whenever the docking port is engaged, I want to do this the other way around. Yeah, okay. We're just going to skip the NOT port for the signal. So what happens is when your docking port is engaged, this NOT signal is activated. It sends a 0, which is going to come through here, right, and come out of this relay and go into the set state of this one. And remember, this one, when this one toggles, it turns this one on, shuts down the reactor without the need to manually turn it on, right? So what this does, and then the second signal coming from this Wi-Fi that goes straight into the set state port means that when the dock is docked, this relay is activated, which means that this not signal, which is the 0 that's going to turn off this relay, is going to pass through. But then when you're undocked, it's going to break this signal, like it's going to turn off this relay and interrupt the 0 signal that would be coming out of it, and allow your controller to once again take over and run the reactor. Right? So now we have a docking controller that turns our reactor off when we're docked, so that we don't waste our fuel rods whenever we're docked, and it does this automatically. Don't need to turn about it. And when we undock, it turns the reactor back on. There's no need to run down and manually turn it on. We also have a button here that can toggle the autocontroller on and off. Sorry, not the autocontroller. This button controls the whole reactor on and off. So when this is on, when you toggle this relay on, the reactor is running as it should in the predictive mode. And when you turn this relay off, this one turns on and sends a 0 signal to the fission rate and turbine output, which effectively turns off the reactor. And so that's your on-off switch. This is your docking interrupt signal, and then this switch is a manual override. So when this one is toggled on, hang on, let's we need another knock component here. State. No. Out. Not. Out. State. I like my indicator lights because they don't have a lot of wiring requirements. You don't wire them. It's easy to have them too big, and it's easy to have them light up the whole room. If this is making sense to you guys, if this reactor controller is like, if this isn't just a bunch of gobbledygook and you guys are getting it, can someone say something in the stream, because it's crickets and I can't tell if that means I'm boring as shit and everybody's leaving. It's 27 views. I don't know if that's retaining. Average view duration is 7 minutes and 30 seconds. Thank you very much for sticking around, guys. Don't forget to like, subscribe. Okay, so this one, 997 here. We're gonna set the state out here. Oh, you know what? Hang on. Let's run a relay. Just to make things extra complex. And this signal check is going to say 0,255. Oh, 5 when it's on. Going to output 500,255. So for those of you unfamiliar with RGBA, that is green and red respectively. So when that is on, this go in here and we'll turn this out. Color. Okay. No, this relay is not necessary. Complicated but interesting. Should be just about it. Alright, so we'll set this one to 998. 9 7. Oh, let out, date out. Oh, it's a relay. What am I doing? Derp. Perp. Okay. We got this 9989 and this is 998. Okay. Good thing we need to go down. Oh. This one is starts on. Screw it. Let's see if it works. Let's see. Just save that, don't you think? Probably a good idea. All right. This one. Oh, we don't have any fuel in the reactor. Huh? Hopefully, he puts them in here. What's going on here? None of my lights are on. Something's off. Something's holding everything. What? Well, we got something. We have life here. Is he still? Ah. Why aren't these filled? Get these? Why won't it let me interact with that one? Alright, well, I messed that up. Hang on. Another thing to note is you don't want to put your junction box room right beside your reactor because if there's a fire in either one, you can't approach the other. Um, Weird. I don't know when I hit that button, but that was not intentional. Okay. And this one is 0. Alright. That should fix it. Oh, crap. Forgot to put fuel in the reactor again. God damn it. It's like bringing the car home without gas. Oh, I just put those on the floor. And I need that. Wow. There we go. Yeah, that's a nice thing about this 3-component reactor is you could throw you could throw 4 fulgurium rods in here and not worry about it. Hit the button, everything powers down. If we hit this button, we can play with things manually. and then everything goes back to normal. Ta-da! Yeah, don't worry about it. It always skirts the edge of meltdown right there. That's the way it works. And what's nice about this is that if you put 4 fuel rods in, 4 fuel rods will decay just as fast as if you did 4 in a row, one at a time. But you have extra heat potential to work with if the shit should hit the proverbial fan and you need extra power. Whereas you're limited to how much power you can produce with only 1 fuel rod. Especially since the uranium fuel rods can only produce 80% of the power that the sub's rated. All right, so that's pretty cool. We got that going for us. Streamy, any comments? I just saved this, by the way, and give it back to you so you I don't know, copy the assemblies and make mental notes of what I've done. Okay, now what do we say? We're gonna make a couple of motion doors on here. This one looks nice enough. So let's maybe thinks I'm complicated but interesting story in my life. My engineer might think that's cheating. How is it cheating? I don't think that's cheating at all. Smart door V1. So really all you gotta do here. Well, there's another motion sensor in there that's completely unnecessary. You might notice I've doubled this in here. No, I just saved it. So let's reload that. Sorry. It's not cheating. It's not a bug. It's a feature. All right. So my hull's on. I can turn it off. On. So here. I'm just deleting this because the circuit I'm about to import already has it. So smart door 1. Trick to these ones is making sure that your water sensors are above the floor line. Set state door. This one is toggle state. I think it was a toggle state. And take this guy and this guy and this guy and so you're behind the door. Yeah, so now let's see how this works. Oh, forgot. Oh, I start closing. Don't want that to happen. Okay, hang on, I close. No. Okay. So basically, this door is supposed to close whenever you walk away from it. And then if you and that's not working at all, is it? Well, that was a total fail. I blame your door. It had nothing to do with my circuitry. I couldn't even say that with a straight face. Alright, walls and structures off. See what's going on here. So we've got, I bet you it's the set state thing. It's not the toggle thing. Okay, easy to pick. Go install state. Oh, this is waiting for an input, isn't it? Motion. This should have a zero signal. Needs to be a load. Why is it still white then? That doesn't make any sense. Message retracted. Oh, no need to take this back, bro. Get it? Nerds don't make things uncomplicated. Nerds do. Alright, guys, I'm gonna have to shut this down pretty soon. Everybody's starting to wake up around the house. It's like 9:22 a.m. where I am. And once again, I forgot to put the fuel in the reactor. Nope. Put it on the floor, though. So there's your reactor controller. Door is motion sensing successfully, closes behind itself. And if we turn water back on, door will fill up and will not open when you approach less water. Turns back to green, you can walk away, and the door closes by itself. Ah, ta-da! Nothing worse than walking into a room full of water and getting barrel trauma to the face. What else do I want to talk about? Oh, components. Talk about them real quick if you want. You guys interested in that, or should I just hang this and end this on a high note? I got a door that works. What do you think, guys? I am gonna sit in awkward silence until I hear something from the chat. You can save the components for another time if I want. That's probably a voice of reason, ladies and gentlemen. So with that, I'm going to yeah, we're in stop madness right now. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me. If you're just watching this after it's been recorded, please don't forget to like and subscribe. It really means a lot to me. I'm trying to justify putting more time into this, and who knows, if I get enough subscribers, maybe I'll even quit my crap job and do this for a living. Because, YouTube sends money to us eventually. I hope. Alright, guys. Thank you so much. Streamy, awesome sub. You've got a problem with hoarding, though. I can see like every possible ore that you've come across in the game is just tucked away somewhere. Fun watch. The man. You've been here since the beginning. Dude, you are the man. That is awesome. Thank you so much. And you guys, please enjoy. I've got the engineering class guide coming shortly. I'm still trying to figure out how DaVinci Resolve works, and my laptop is old and crappy. Um, the man. So I'm having hardware issues. It crashes if I try to compile anything longer than 4 or 5 minutes. Good old Asus laptops are damn good, but hang on, good stream. There might, oh, but you might be biased. No, where's your bias coming from, buddy? There's no bias here. All right, guys, have a good one, and as always, happy diving.